Hi there, Doc from Barcast Audio here today to talk with you about an important topic, why you should not become a lawyer. This is probably a harsh reality that a lot of students, more students should face, more people thinking about law school should face. I'm going to break it down for you. Let's jump right into it. Before we get started, be sure to subscribe to this channel for more law school videos, more bar exam tips. Be sure to check us out at barcastaudio.com. If you're in law school preparing for the bar exam, we have all sorts of materials available for you. Check us out at barcastaudio.com. Now, why should you not become a lawyer? Maybe it's your childhood dream. Maybe it's something you promised your parents you would do since you were 5 years old. Maybe you come from a long family of lawyers. The number one reason people should not become lawyers is because people don't know what lawyers do. They don't know what it means to actually be a lawyer. The number one question I get from people who find out that I am an attorney is it like Suits? And you know what? It's not really like Suits at all. We are all much worse dressed than the people in Suits. None of us are that good looking. And additionally, the day-to-day life just isn't really like what it is portrayed in the show Suits. Now, every lawyer's experience is going to be different, but generally there are really sort of three types of lawyers. You have litigators who are the more conventional in the courtroom lawyers, doing depositions, doing trials, what you think of when you think of the Law and Order attorneys in that show, and people who are actually in a courtroom. Then you have transactional lawyers. Transactional lawyers are contract lawyers, essentially. They help facilitate transactions, business transactions. And those are what most lawyers sort of are. Now, there are an additional area that I've included here, or additional group of lawyers who I will call generalists, and they kind of do both, and they can work maybe in-house for a facility or for a company, and they're working on litigation matters for that company or that organization, as well as some transactional matters for that organization. Now, within both of those areas, you will see a wide array of specialties. Litigation attorneys who only handle medical malpractice claims, who only handle people falling at job sites, at construction sites, labor law kind of work. And by the same token, with transactional work, you can see people who only handle a certain type of transactions, mergers and acquisitions of health facilities, that kind of stuff. That's really where you're going to see people niching down as they expand their practice, as they start to really get into their career. Now, for a lot of people who are going to law school, who are thinking about going to law school, they don't even know this. They don't even know the differentiation between what career paths kind of lay out there. I know people often say, if you go to law school, you can do whatever you want. And to some degree, that is true, because law school, to me, is valuable in that it prepares you to think in an analytical way and to break problems down and complex problems down in a really useful manner. But the truth of the matter is that most people who go to law school don't understand what lawyers do in the day-to-day. It's not just about going to the courtroom and arguing motions. A lot of it is paperwork. A lot of it is doing the process of billing for your time. Not a lot of time is devoted to this topic in law school, but billing is a major part of a lawyer's daily life. They have to account for their time. That's how they're paid. That's how their law firms are paid. And that involves breaking down their time basically to the minute in 6-minute increments over the course of the day, over the course of the year. And I'm talking about billing hours upwards of 2,000 in a lot of cases, upwards of 1,800 in a lot of cases. Lawyers work a lot, and the reason that they work a lot often is getting to those billable hours. People often see these salaries that lawyers make, and they are dying then to get into law school, to get one of those $200,000 plus jobs out of law school, a big law job as we call them. But the big but here is that you are working exceptionally a lot, like so much. Your life becomes being an attorney. And for some people, that's fine. It's worth the trade-off, the opportunities you may get as an exit from that lifestyle, the financial stability you were provided during that period. But for the most part, in my dealings and in working with students and lawyers across the industry for years now, students and attorneys tend to sort of burn out in that environment. They feel that they've made all this money and they don't have the time to spend it. Becoming a lawyer is a little bit of a golden goose for people. They feel like once they get there, they're going to make a lot of money. But the way that lawyers' salaries are measured, it's sort of a bimodal industry where a lot of students coming out of school are making $200,000 plus per year, whereas probably more students coming out of school are making less than $80,000 a year in their first jobs. And you see not very many people in that middle area, at least coming out of school. As people's careers progress, they may obviously see large jumps in salary, but for the most part, they're going to be opposite ends of the spectrum. People are going to be making either a ton of money or more in that upper middle class area. So it may not be the golden goose that you're looking for. There are easier ways to probably make six figures than being a lawyer. Now, by the same token, I could do a whole other video about the specialization that being an attorney provides and the benefits of having that in your back pocket as you are building a career. But this is not that video. This is a video about why you should not become a lawyer. On top of everything I've said already, I don't think people really appreciate just how much work has to go into this. Going to law school is an incredibly difficult process. It's a highly competitive environment. It's an extremely expensive process where you're spending upwards of $60,000 per year in some cases, upwards of $75,000 per year in some cases. And there's no real guarantee that in the short term you're going to make that money back. Now, if you land one of those big law jobs, of course you can put money towards your loans and hopefully you can pay that money back expeditiously. For those of you who get those jobs coming out of school that are for less than $80,000, you're going to feel completely overwhelmed by the weight of whatever loans you may take. Now, obviously, scholarships are available, but a lot of times these schools drag students in by these incredible scholarship offers and ultimately give out too many scholarships such that students end up getting them revoked in their second year or their third year because they don't make certain GPA requirements or they don't qualify for certain class rankings. And then you're in the unfortunate position of having to spend out of pocket, take out loans to continue your education where you feel like you've already devoted a year or more of your life to this process, and you're sort of, pardon my French, I was going to say ass out of luck, but you're out of luck. And now you reach the point where you're looking down the pike, there's no real prospects of you making $250,000 at least in the short term, and you feel like you have nearly $250,000 in student loan debt. So this is a real situation that many law students across the country find themselves in, and it's extremely unfortunate. On top of all of this, I mentioned the work involved in law school. We're talking about 3-hour to 8-hour finals at the end of each semester for each of your 3 to 5 law courses. We're talking about hours spent in the library. We're talking about extensive study on weekends, late into the night. It is a major process, unlike what most students have experienced before. I tend to believe that students who have taken somewhat of a break and worked in the actual working world in between law school and in between undergraduate and law school kind of slide better into the law school process because they understand what it takes to be a real adult. Sometimes people who are going straight to law school from undergrad don't really appreciate that they've sort of leveled up now and the expectations are going to be leveling up. So they struggle a bit to get their footing in this new environment. On top of all of that, at the end of law school, after you've struggled through this, competed for grades, been in situations where you're in a class of 100 people and only 2 people can get an A in this class. So obviously it's going to be very difficult to break the curve of law school. You get to the end of law school, you graduate, and now you have to take the bar exam. Now, the bar exam, as many people know, is an extremely difficult exam that students from across the country take to qualify to become lawyers. Some students will struggle with this. Some students may never pass this exam. Some students, otherwise brilliant students in law school, simply just can't wrap their head around the process of the bar exam. It's a 2-day exam in almost every case. It's going to be 4 3-hour sessions. So many subjects are covered in this bar exam. Evidence, constitutional law, contracts, property law, family law, wills, trusts, and estates, all over the place. It is an extremely excruciating process that requires upwards of 2.5 to 3 months of full-time concentrated study to get over the line to pass this exam. And it's not one you can really kind of just slide your way through. Maybe you took the GRE, it's nothing like that. Maybe you took the LSAT, it's nothing like that. It is extremely difficult. It is extremely demanding physically, psychologically, and obviously mentally in terms of what you actually need to know and memorize for this exam. Given all those barriers, given all those reasons, if you still feel like you want to be a lawyer, more power to you. I honestly think that for as much of the focus of this video is why you should not be a lawyer, there are plenty of people out there who should, who are going to listen to this video, who are going to say, yeah, I don't care about any of those things. None of that matters to me. I'm going to be a lawyer. You can't tell me that I'm not going to be. And those are the people who are going to be fine. They are going to, you need a certain center, a certain sense of self to overcome so much of what goes on, both in the competitive world of law school and then the actual process of taking the bar exam and becoming an attorney. If you lose that sense of self, if you are somebody who may crumble under that pressure, it's better. It's better that you get out now, that you understand what is going to be asked of you, and that you simply say, hey, listen, maybe this really is not for me. I thought that I was just going to make a bunch of money and I wouldn't really have to do all that much work. It is not going to be like that. If you're listening to me and you're saying, none of this applies to me, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. That does it for us here at Barcast Audio. Be sure to check us out at our website. If you are going to law school, you need some extra help getting over the finish line, we have all sorts of materials, audio outlines, outlines that you can print out for your final season, give you a head start, get you ahead of some of your classmates, get you scoring well on your final exams. Check us out at barcastaudio.com and subscribe to this channel for more of these videos.